Now that we've had the opportunity to get familiar with all the different ways to count total numbers of outcomes, we want to get into the actual concept of probability. Now, probability is that likelihood of an event occurring. It's your number of favorable outcomes or outcomes that we want to happen divided by the total number of possible outcomes. And when we go talk about probability, probability ranges always from 0 to 1. And when we look at this, we are going to be looking in terms of, at one extreme, we've got always, which always is going to be the outcome that has a 100% chance of happening or has a value of 1. And 1 is that largest value in probability. Now, about halfway down the line, we've got as likely as not, which is going to be where we have an even chance of it occurring. You ever hear people saying a 50-50 chance? They're talking about as likely as not. So it's that probability of 50% or 0.5 or 1/2. Now, on the other end of the spectrum from always is never, where that outcome has no chance or 0% chance of happening. It's the smallest value in probability. So if you ever are working with probability and you get a number bigger than 1 or smaller than 0, you did something wrong. Now, one thing I do want to mention as a note is that probability can be written in 3 different forms for answers. It can be written as a fraction, as a decimal, and as a percent. You will be expected to be able to write all 3 forms. Now, before we get into that, one of the things I want to talk about is this always, sometimes, never piece. We want to be able to describe different situations on a scale from always to sometimes to never to fit that description. So first we have describing the probability of choosing a dime if 10 coins are in my pocket, which includes 3 pennies, 2 nickels, 3 dimes, and 1 quarter. Well, I look at this as, well, there's more than just dimes, so therefore it's not always. And there are dimes, so it's not never. So in this case, our answer would be sometimes. Yes, I realize I can write an S. I'm going to write the words out. Then we've got describing the probability of choosing the letter J in the word probability. Well, I look in the word probability, I don't see any J's, which means that this probability is never going to happen. Next example, we've got describing the probability of choosing a Snickers candy bar from a bag of fun-size Snickers. Well, I see a bag of fun-size Snickers, that to me sounds like there's all Snickers in there. So this would be a case where no matter what I choose, I will always get a Snickers. The other piece is being able to actually write probabilities. We're going to get in this more tomorrow, but let's take a look at for some starters. We said it's what we want out of the total possible outcomes. So I look at this spinner here, and in this spinner, I've got this ability to get blue, yellow, or red. And when I count my options, I see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different possible options. So that means that my denominator is going to be 9 for all 3 of these. Now I want the probability of yellow. Well, what we want is 2 out of those 9 could happen. I realize some of you might want to say 1 because we can only spin 1 slot. However, there are 2 possible outcomes that would happen to be in our favor. For red, there are 3, and that can be simplified with fractions. You always want to simplify. So 2/9, if we want to write this, this would be 0.22 or 22%. Here, this one would be 0.33, which would be 33%. And then the blue, we count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 9, which would be equal to 0.44 or 44%. Looking at the next example, we have here using the word mathematics to answer the following questions. Probability of drawing the letter M, and if I haven't mentioned, this just simply means probability of. So we look here, I look here and I count and I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's a possibility of 11 letters to choose from. And drawing the letter M, I see that there are 2 M's, so that's a 2 out of 11 chance. For this one, I'm just going to write the fractions, since you should know how to convert between them. Now, probability drawing the letter T. I see 2 T's, so this is also a 2 out of 11 probability. Looking at C, I see there's 1 C, so that's a 1 in 11 chance. And then for Z, I don't see any Z's. This would be 0, that would be your never category. Before you move on any further, first thing you're going to do, and this is all going to be done while you're home tomorrow, I want you to describe the probability if you're tossing 2 dice that the sum of the 2 dice will be 7, using either the words always, sometimes, or never. And then if one letter is chosen at random from the words Mississippi River, what is the probability of choosing the letter I? Once you have done this, and obviously written your summaries as well, you have a worksheet. I'm going to show you what the worksheet looks like. I've given you a hard copy already. What you need to do is first, under the words never, sometimes, and always, come up with 2 different ideas for ways to describe never, sometimes, and always, and fill those in those slots. Then, when you're finished with those ideas, I want you to place your ideas on this number line that I have shown here. So remember that 0.1 means 10%, 0.2 is 20%, etc. So you want to be able to place your words on this number line. Once you've done that, on the back side of the worksheet, you're going to place all these words that are listed down here. Then on the back side of the worksheet, you're going to place all these words that are listed here, all 14 of them, onto the number line ranging from 0 to 1. Now, I realize that some of them may fit in one spot as well as another word. Number them up. Be prepared. This has to be done because we are going to be discussing this on Wednesday in class. And as always, bring your questions with you to class when you get there.